How do you know if you've experienced trauma? A while back, I spoke with Gabrielle Taylor on this subject. She's a psychotherapist and transformational coach, and she helps individuals, couples, and families gain perspective on challenging life situations and improve their relationships. She defines trauma as an experience that we have that overwhelms our capacity to cope. For most people, experiencing abuse or even watching emotional abuse would be traumatizing. But it could be anything from your dog dying or even getting a really bad medical diagnosis. There are lots of different traumatic events in our lives. I've said before, there's no trauma Olympics. Your trauma is your own and may be different than someone else's. So it's not a good idea to compare. However, it is good to recognize that trauma and do something about it. The American Psychological Association defines trauma as an emotional response to a terrible event. I personally categorize trauma in 3 different buckets. Number 1, physical trauma, and that's physical injury to your person, physical abuse, bullying injuries, sexual abuse, and that includes physical effects of psychological abuse, such as headaches, lethargy, fatigue, racing heartbeat, inability to concentrate, etc. All of those are physical symptoms. Number 2, emotional trauma. Like physical trauma, emotional trauma can be incident-based and long-lasting. It might be more difficult to pinpoint than physical trauma. Emotional and verbal abuse fall into these categories. It's also things like mind games, manipulation, shaming, threatening, and criticism. They can all cause trauma as the abuser tries to control the victim. Number 3, bystander trauma. This one gets to me. It's really the reason I left my emotionally abusive husband. My 2 little girls were watching an unhealthy relationship. I didn't know what to call it at the time, but by watching what was happening, they experienced bystander trauma. And that can have a psychological impact that can shatter someone's life. This can also lead to depression, anxiety, PTSD, and many other disorders. How can you transition from trauma into a healthier state? Dr. James W. Pennebaker from the University of Texas has done extensive research into the connection between healing and writing. And when you think about it, it makes sense. So many times we hide our emotions or we say, "I'm fine," when we really aren't. You can't address anger, hurt, bitterness, sadness, or resentment if you don't think you're feeling that emotion. The work done by Dr. Pennebaker and other medical professionals have generated a renewed interest in free writing as a form of therapy for people looking to discover and heal from past trauma. I've got some resources for you, and I will link them down below. My question of the day: have you experienced trauma? And if so, what kind? Let me know in the comments section. And remember, some of the best tips and feedback come from you, the Real Life Resilience community. So definitely connect with everybody in the comment section, share your own tips, and suggest other questions I can cover in upcoming videos. Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe for more videos just like this and click the bell icon to be notified when I release new ones. Check out our really informative playlist here. And until next time, remember that life is a story, and it's never too late to start telling yours.